6'6" is the tallest ISO build you can make and still be able to get gold lightning launch. That's because it requires an 86 speed with ball, and starting at 6'7", no matter what you do, the highest speed with ball you can get is an 83. Now, does that mean any ISO build over 6'6" just isn't viable anymore? Absolutely not. There are multiple clips of NBA players with terrible dribble moves equipped, speed boosting perfectly fine with silver lightning launch. So my 6'8" enthusiasts out there, don't worry, you're gonna be completely fine. And low-key, I'm gonna be joining y'all again this year. To get contact dunks this year, you need an 89 driving dunk and a 78 vertical. Not because that's what you need for posterizer, but because those are the minimum requirements to equip contact dunk animation. And finally, I have a full list of every single animation in the entire game. Not only that, it shows every single attribute and height requirement for the best dribble moves, jump shots, and dunk animations in NBA 2K25. And we're gonna go over them in this video. So yeah, if I were you, I'd stick around till the end. What's up, Simply Squad? It's your boy, Build Connoisseur, grinding, and I need y'all to drop a like right now, because the second this video hits 1,000 likes, I will drop a 6'8" demigod ISO build that gets a 91 steal to unlock gold glove, has a maxed out ball handling and speed with ball so you're as fast as a 6'8" can possibly be, and gets contact dunks so you can absolutely body your opponent over and over again. Subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on that, and even if you think you subscribed, double check and make sure, because trust me, you don't want to miss out on me teaching you how to dominate in the park on day one. Now, we have a lot of builder news to cover, so let's just get into it. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention in the intro is we still have our max +1 badge. So when I'm out there with my 6'8" and he has gold lightning launch, even though you technically can't even get that in the builder, don't be asking no questions. Alright y'all, as always, we're gonna talk about things in order of most importance. And the most important change in the builder is the takeover. Now, at first glance, having 72 takeovers can be a little overwhelming, but it's actually a lot simpler than you think. While there is technically 72 takeovers, a better way to describe it is that you get 14 takeover abilities that you can pick and choose from, and then you have 72 ways to get there. So to explain this better, let's look at these takeovers right here, the Kryptonite and Driver takeovers. As you can see, they both have this same takeover ability, which of course is Poster Machine. But Kryptonite and Driver are still technically two different takeovers, because Kryptonite upgrades your driving dunk, your speed, and your speed with ball as you level up through the takeovers, while Driver only levels up your driving dunk and your ball handle. So like I explained last video, as you play well in any given game, you are gonna be earning takeover. And as you're earning takeover, you're gonna progressively go through the levels of your takeover. So if you're at level 3 in your takeover bar in a game and you have Kryptonite activated, you are gonna get a +4 boost to your driving dunk, your speed, and your speed with ball. But if you're at level 3 in your takeover and you have Driver activated, instead you're gonna get a +6 boost to your driving dunk and your ball handle. And then once you reach level 5, whether you have Kryptonite or whether you have Driver, you're still going to unlock the same takeover ability, which is Poster Machine. You see what I mean now? Yes, there's 72 takeovers, but really there's 14 takeover abilities, and then there's just 72 different ways to get there. So now that you hopefully understand that, the next logical question is grinding, what are the 14 takeover abilities so I know what to go for? The 14 takeover abilities are Poster Machine, which makes skill dunks easier, Silky Shooter, which boosts your green window on moving shots and increases your chance of getting an ankle breaker, Marksman, which enhances your standstill perimeter shots, Lethal Layup, which increases your ability to make layups in traffic, Blur, which lets you get past people and drive to the basket easier, Deep Bomber, which increases your green window on deep threes, Spoiler, which gives you a higher efficiency at getting on ball and off ball steals, Vice, which is a defensive takeover that makes ball handlers pick up the ball more, Dishmaster, which is a glorified dimer, Rim Guardian, which is basically rim take, Interior Force, which increases the success rate of dunks and finishing under the basket, Blockade, which is basically brick wall, See the Future, which allows you to see where the rebound is landing, aka glass takeover, and last but not least, Deep post bag, a toxic takeover that you should never use. I'm kidding. Obviously, it enhances your post move. Can I get y'all to drop a like for all this effort I'm putting in this video? And again, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Now, the last thing I want to say about Takeover before we move on is you do not need to worry about not getting the takeover you want. I'm not gonna lie to you, I made over 15 builds at Community Day, and every single one of them had the takeover I wanted without me even thinking about it. As long as the takeover you want correlates with some attribute rating that you put in the builder, you will unlock a takeover that works great for you. So basically, as long as you don't make a pure inside center with no three-pointer when you want the deep bomber takeover ability, then you're going to be perfectly fine. Trust me, if you just make your build normally, you're gonna find a takeover that you love. Now, this next topic is massive. Sitting in front of me, I have a full list of every single animation in the entire game. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm not joking. And on this list of every single dunk animation, dribble move, layup style, hop step, go-to shot, everything you would need, I also have the height and attribute rating requirements right next to them. Now, first off, shout out to 2K for providing me with this list and for letting me attend Community Day. Still super grateful for that. And second, everything I'm about to tell you is subject to change. But if there are changes, they're gonna be extremely minor. So I want to cover some of the animations that y'all have been asking for. Now, if I sat here and said the height requirements every single time, I would lose my mind. So we're gonna follow a basic guideline. So the height requirements are split up into 3 categories. The first category is animations that can only be put on from players that are 5'9" to 6'4". The second category is animations that can only be put on by players that are 6'5" to 6'9". And the final category is animations that can only be put on by players that are 6'10" to 7'3". And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you every single time which category it's in. So for example, if I say you need an 85 driving layup for Allen Iverson layup style, you should already assume that that layup style can only be put on by 5'9" to 6'4" builds because Allen Iverson is within that height range. If there's any exceptions to that rule, I will say it. But if I don't say anything, just assume whatever height range the player I'm talking about falls in. Alright, now that we got that out the way, listen up because I can't show the document, but I can talk about it. The highest ball handling required dribble moves in the entire game requires a 92 ball handling rating, which means you will never need higher than a 92 ball handling rating to equip any dribble move that is based off of ball handling, except for one single exception, which is Steve Francis aggressive breakdown 95 overall ball handling. Other than that, all of Steph Curry, all of Trae Young, all of De'Aaron Fox, every other point guard in the entire game, all of their dribble moves require a 92 ball handle or less. Now obviously that doesn't mean you'll never go above 92 ball handling. There's still badges in the game that require a 95 ball handling, but we're talking strictly animations here, which is kind of crazy, but not as crazy as this. The highest speed with ball rating requirement in the entire game is a 94 speed with ball, and that is to unlock Kyrie Irving dribble style, followed by Steph Curry and Damian Lillard dribble style at 91 speed with ball, and then Trae Young and De'Aaron Fox's dribble style at 90 speed with ball. I guess that means Kyrie Irving dribble style is about to feed family, which is good because on my small guard build, I do have a 95 ball handle, so I'm gonna be testing out all these dribble moves, and you know I got y'all with the best dribble moves video on the first week of the game. The highest size up escape move, like Trae Young size up escape, stuff like that, the highest rating requirement we can see here is a 92 ball handle, which unlocks Steph Curry size up escape, followed by LaMelo Ball at 91 ball handling, which actually breaks our assumption because it allows builds from 5'9" to 6'9" to equip LaMelo Ball size up escape. So if it's good, we might see little 5'9s running around with a LaMelo Ball dribble move. And then tied for third place is Kyrie Irving and Damian Lillard size up escape at a 90 ball handling rating. I could go through every single dribble move, but I think that's enough for dribbling. If y'all have any specific questions, just ask me in the comments and I'll answer them below. So now let's talk about some of the requirements for shooting. The highest rated hop jumper in NBA 2K25 as of right now is Kobe Bryant hop jumper, and it requires a 92 three-pointer or a 92 midi. And then there's a lot of animations tied for second place, which all unlock at an 87 midi or an 87 three-pointer. The highest rated dribble pull-up is a tie between Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, and Michael Jordan, and they all require an 87 three-point or an 87 midi. And finally, the highest rated go go-to shot, the new mechanic in NBA 2K25, is a tie between Devin Booker and Kyrie Irving at an 87 midi or an 87 3-point rating. And then finally, to get both pro contact dunk animations, you need an 89 driving dunk and a 78 vertical. To get both elite contact dunks, you need a 99 driving dunk and a 90 vertical. To get both small contact dunks, you need a 93 driving dunk and an 80 vertical. And finally, to get both big man contact dunks, you need a 90 standing dunk and a 70 vertical. And obviously, to get the small contact dunks, you have to be 6'4" or smaller, and to get the big man contact dunks, you have to be 6'10" and taller. But the pro and elite contact dunks have no height requirement whatsoever. Now you have the highest ratings for a lot of the shots, dribble moves, and dunks in NBA 2K25. I hope you utilize all this info when you're making your builds. The next thing we need to go over is the difference between speed, speed with ball, and agility. Notice how I said agility and not acceleration, because they removed acceleration and replaced it with a brand new rating. Now the good news about NBA 2K25's builder is that now it actually gives you a description of what you're upgrading and how this attribute will affect your gameplay. So if we look at what the game is telling us, it'll tell you that the only two ratings that affect your speed while you're dribbling are ball handling and speed with ball. Yes, you heard that right. No more worrying about 3 or 4 different ratings. When it comes to your speed boost, the only thing that matters is your ball handling rating and your speed with ball. So granted, why would I upgrade agility then? Agility this year affects how fast you accelerate and how fast you move laterally when you don't have the ball. So basically, your agility rating will affect you a lot on defense and will affect your first couple of steps when you're running without the ball. So for example, if you're going for a lane steal, it affects your burst there. If you're running on a fast break, the first 2 steps will go off your agility rating, stuff like that, but it will never affect how fast you move while you're dribbling the ball. And then finally, just like last year, speed is how fast you move once your agility rating runs out. So again, you're on a fast break, the first 2 steps gonna go off your agility rating. Once that agility rating is done, that's when your speed kicks in. And I will say, I really like this change, because depending on what build you're making, one of these stats will matter more than the other for that build, and then you make a new build and another stat will be more important. For example, if you're making a lockdown, agility is super important. How fast you move laterally is super important on a lockdown. But if I'm making a small guard, I don't necessarily need that much agility unless I'm going for a certain badge that goes off of agility. And then honestly, speed is just one of those things that we're gonna have to figure out like a month or 2 into the game. At first, everyone's gonna be safe and have a pretty high speed because nobody wants to be running super slow, which is not fun. But just like last year with the low acceleration builds, I'm sure that there might be some low speed builds that come out so you can get more attributes and make even better builds. So we're gonna have to see. But at first, I would say play it safe, make your speed decently high, like around 85-ish, so you don't go out there and your players running in mud. Now I'm about to show you some of my very first builds I made at Community Day before we had any animation requirements, so I can show you exactly where I went wrong so you don't make the same mistake. But first, I want to cover some build caps that I found that you might find interesting. First off, 6-foot builds are the tallest build you can make and still get a 99 ball handle. So if you were really hoping to get Legend Ankle Breaker, you're gonna have to go 6 foot or shorter, or you're gonna have to go a build that gets Hall of Fame Ankle Breaker and then max +1 it to Legend Ankle Breaker. And by the way, if you don't know what max +1 is, basically once you max out a badge, so let's say I get Posterizer on Hall of Fame in the builder, and then I play Park for the first week and I max out my Posterizer to Hall of Fame. I can apply a badge perk that I get called max +1, I'm pretty sure you unlock it in the season pass, and if I equip it to my Hall of Fame Posterizer, I will then unlock Legend Posterizer even though my build couldn't unlock it in the builder. A super cool way to get Legend badges even if your build can't technically get them. So just keep that in mind. The next cap I found is that 6'7" with a 7'1" wingspan is the tallest build you can make and still get a 99 steal. Then I also found that 6'9" with a 7'5" wingspan is the tallest build you can make to get a 99 driving dunk. And then 6'4" with a 7-foot wingspan is the shortest build you can make to get a 99 driving dunk. And then finally, the last weird cap that I found is that 6'5" with the lowest wingspan is the tallest build you can make to get a 99 3-point rating. Someone asked me to look for those caps when I got a Community Day, so I thought I'd just let y'all know. Now without further ado, let's get into some builds that I messed up on, starting with this 6'6" build. Now when I got to Community Day, in the very first build I made was a 6'6" build that was basically just a better version of what we had in 2K24, I was absolutely cheesing. Now keep in mind, at this point in Community Day, we haven't been given any contact dunk requirements, we haven't gotten any animation requirements, so I was fully judging this build based off of the badges I unlocked. And man, did it look good. I had gold playmaking badges, I had a high 3-point rating, I had plans to max +1 it so I'd get Hall of Fame or gold shooting badges, I had posterizer, and on top of all that, I still had really good defense for an ISO build. But obviously, knowing what I know now, this build absolutely sucks. First off, with these driving dunk ratings, the only contact dunk animation I would unlock is pro contact dunks off 2. And if you've played 2K before, you know that wasting all those attributes to get one measly animation is just not worth it. Second, I have all this defense, but I have no agility whatsoever. So I was really gonna go out there day one and be like, hey man, why am I moving so slow? I have an 89 perimeter defense. To which all of y'all would look at me like I'm stupid and say, hey bro, you got a 71 agility. What do you think? And then finally, now that I have this animation list, I can see that there's barely any dribble moves for 6'5" to 6'9" that even require anything over an 85, let alone a 93. So unless I really want Kobe Bryant spin at 88 ball handle, or for whatever reason, for whatever build I'm making, I really want to use my 2 max +1s on something other than my playmaking badges, I should probably lower my ball handling to a more reasonable rating and distribute those super expensive attribute points somewhere else. Now please don't look at this trash build and think, oh, Grant is going to be dropping hot trash. I bet I'm not watching none of his build videos. I promise you, I'm dropping peak. Again, this was my first hour of Community Day. We had none of the information available to us at this time, so I wanted to show y'all the mistakes I made so y'all don't make it too. One more build I want to show y'all is this 6'4" build that I actually tweeted about at the time that I thought was going to be the greatest build of all time. And rightfully so. I got a 93 ball handle, a 93 3-point rating, and a 93 driving dunk. In my head at the time, I thought I made the 2K20 BP. Now the good news is I actually made the 2K20 BP, and I'm dropping that video tonight. So again, make sure to subscribe with notifications on. But the reason this isn't the 2K20 BP with even more defense is because 6'4" builds have one major flaw. Yes, they can get attributes that look as souped as this, but they cannot get mini marksman at any tier whatsoever. In one, y'all know me, I'm trying to shoot over heads. In two, if you're gonna make a small build, you need the advantage of being able to shoot over taller defenders. If not, life is just gonna be super hard for you. So write this down in your notes. To get mini marksman, you need to be 6'3" and under. So one of the builds I'm showing y'all tonight is a 6'3" BP build that I think could actually be the meta of NBA 2K25. I'm super excited about that build. It's actually gonna be my day one build of NBA 2K25. I've decided that I'm starting with a small guard this year because the content is just gonna be amazing with it, but I'm getting ahead of myself. One thing that I thought was funny was I took this already terrible quote-unquote BP build and I found a way to make it even worse. The first 2 hours I spent in the builder, I was literally just out here guessing, bro. It's honestly hilarious looking back how much I know now versus how much I knew then. When y'all see the builds I dropped tonight, y'all are gonna be stunned by how much my knowledge of the builder grew between last week and this week. Cause trust me, I'm hooking y'all up with this up. And finally, last but not least, I want to just leave some footage up of me going up and down through the height, the weight, the wingspan, so you can see what goes up and what goes down, as well as me upgrading certain attributes so you can see which attributes are grouped together, so you can kind of plan in your head what build you're gonna make and what attributes you're gonna decide to keep or leave without. Like for example, if you're making a lockdown, obviously you're gonna need agility, so maybe you go a little bit down on speed, or maybe you don't go block or you don't go strength. You're gonna have to decide what you're okay with leaving on the table and what you're not, and what you want to grab on your build. One thing I will say is that the builder might seem a little complicated at first, but honestly for most of y'all, I don't think it will. I think the main problem I had was I didn't have the information that y'all do when I first got on the builder. So now that you know the contact dunk requirements, the best dribble move requirements, the best go-to shot requirements, now that you know all that, you know exactly what to go for, you know exactly what you need. So I think it's gonna be a lot easier for y'all, and that makes me happy because that's what I'm here for. I'm trying to make this a lot easier for you guys. And don't worry, I'm gonna make it even easier when I give y'all exact builds once you get this video to 1,000 likes, and then again tonight with my small guard build, because I'm gonna drop my 6'8" demigod ISO build that I really love. It's gonna be my main 2s build, and then with my small guard build, that's gonna be my main 3s build build as well as my day 1 NBA 2K25 build, so y'all gonna be seeing a bunch of videos on that. But anyways, y'all, it's 3 a.m. I'm tired. I still gotta edit this video somehow. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. If you made it to the end, let's have a code word. Let's just make the code word respect to tell me that you respect my grind and that I'm staying up all night to get these videos out for y'all. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and as always, keep grinding.
Ballin', 2K we never be falling. Rachel she never be calling. Still hitting shots while they steady be taunting. Ballin', 2K we never be falling. Rachel she never be calling. Still hitting shots while they steady be calling.